Hello friends, today I'm going to tell you something about the fatty liver. Most of us, especially in the giant are suffering from fatty liver first grade, second grade or third grade. And there are two kinds of fatty livers, non-alcoholic fatty liver or the simple fatty liver. Most of our, when we go to the doctor, they tell us to avoid red meat, alcohol and oils, etc. And change the lifestyle, have reduce the carbohydrates, and just take and prescribe certain medicines. But over a certain period of time, I have been doing some research. But many doctors fail to tell us something which is very important. Although one of the most important things in case of fatty liver, precaution in case of fatty liver is we must first of all just change our lifestyle. And one of the important changes is that we must change our sedentary lifestyle. We must where all of us are addicted to using the motor cars and moving here and there just in vehicles, and we most of us avoid walking, not just walking, and avoid doing exercise. Although exercise cannot be done by in every age, but walking can be done by everybody during any time of the day, preferably in the morning. So walking is one of the first best exercises to reduce to change your lifestyle and reduce the this fat in your body, especially the fat on your organs and belly fat. So one has to definitely one has to change the lifestyle. One has to reduce the intake of the meat, intake of the oil, intake of the other carbohydrates, and if anybody is taking alcohol, avoid that alcohol. But what most of the doctors fail to tell us is that there is one more factor that adds that increases your chances of developing the fatty liver. First of all, is there is a stress level. Stress greatly has a very vital role. Stress hormones is cortisol. It has a very vital role in promoting this fatty liver. So one has to reduce the stress. One has to reduce the stress, try to avoid the stress. Although stress avoiding is very difficult task, but keeping lifestyle nowadays and the circumstances, political and otherwise, and stress is a natural thing which comes to us. So we must try to reduce the stress as far as possible, indulge in certain activities. Most of us do just watch TVs, etc., to reduce the stress. Everybody has his own tactics of reducing the stress. Another very vital thing, which most of the doctors, as I said at the outset, fail to tell us, is that they usually tell us to avoid fats. They usually tell us to avoid red meat. They usually tell us to avoid sedentary lifestyle. But let me tell you, fat doesn't go to the liver. Any doctor you can and just ask any doctor, fat is not processed in the liver. In fact, fat is very essential for the whole of the body. There are, if my knowledge is correct, a large number of enzymes, enzymes or hormones, whatever, are produced whose base is the fat. So fat is essential for the body, and our brain is composed of the fat. Most, I think, 70 or 80% fat is our brain is composed of the fat. I'm reminded of a research which I read somewhere some years ago, that some mice were fed fat-free diet, and another were given fat diet which included the fat. Those mice which were just deprived of the fat for a certain period of, they died. So fat is very essential, and fat alone is not responsible for fatty liver. Number one thing. Second is there, which most of us ignore, and doctors also fail to tell us, is that it's not the fat, it is not only the protein which increases your chances of fatty liver. It is one more factor which we ignore, especially we in J&K, we just love the fruits because especially in the Kashmir, fruit is produced in abundance. It is the fructose which when goes excess into the body is converted in the liver from fructose into the fat. So please listen to this. fructose which we take through the fruits is converted from fructose into the fat in the liver. It is this thing which actually ultimately gets stored in our fat and we get the fatty liver. Otherwise, gone are the days when you used to say an apple a day keeps doctor away. Nowadays, I should modify it. I say apple a day invites doctor right away, because nowadays we see the fruits are just loaded with toxic things such as color enhancing chemicals, pesticides, and whatever insecticides, whatever other things, artificial ripeners, they increase the toxicity. So better, it is essential that we reduce the intake of the meat, intake of the, if anybody is taking alcohol, reduce, eliminate the alcohol from the body, from the daily consumption, reduce the intake of the meat, and at the same time reduce the intake of the fruits. We usually feel that taking fruits is very safe. It is not safe. It's as already said it. There are chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals. There are artificial ripeners which ripen raw banana, raw mango within 24 hours, and they are very, very dangerous for the body. This is one factor. We should minimize the intake of the fruits. And another factor is that the fructose in the this fruits, when we take in excess fructose, it goes into the liver and it's converted into the fat. It's this fat that gets stored. So we must reduce the intake of the fruits as well. One of the factors which again unfortunately we read in on YouTube, anywhere elsewhere in papers, that taking dry fruits is very healthy. They have that omega fatty acid or whatever. Exactly, dry fruits are very healthy, but we forget to understand when a red meat. Why is red meat prohibited in fatty liver? Simple enough, because it contains proteins. So similarly, dry fruits also contain protein, especially almonds. Where those Californian almonds here, they contain a large amount of protein as well as fat. You just observe, take those for 10-15 days, and then you will see your belly will increase in size. So taking these dry fruits in moderation is also required. They may contain some certain beneficial elements, but at the same time they also contain something which are very dangerous for our body, for our liver. So taking dry fruit, one must reduce the intake of dry fruits as well. So wish you a very happy and healthy life. This is Shaheen Mohammed Ashraf. Goodbye.